So the subject that I'm going to speak about now is love. And it's a question because is this a Jewish subject? And it does. The people might probably don't realize that it is. It happens to be the first one, the first Jewish subject of all. I'll explain as we go along. So in Western society, we know that every song and basically every movie is about love. And it's between two people, between more people, and oftentimes they're apart and then become together. So it's just that's we see it over and over and over again. And you know how we put it in language? We say the people fell in love. Now why did they fall? If love is such a great thing, it's such a wholesome thing, such a wonderful feeling, why would we say that they fell in love? It sounds like they're going down, not up. And it's a problem. Okay? So one thing that Western society has accepted is comes from Greek mythology. This young man or child, his name is Cupid, and he has a bow and arrow, and he goes around with the bow, and he shoots the arrow at a man who's looking at a woman. Now when that arrow hits the man, he falls in love with the woman he's looking at. That's how Cupid works. Everybody knows about that, right? So that's wonderful, right? The arrow goes in the man sees the woman, he loves the woman therefore falls in love with the man because he loves her, and they get married and they live happily ever after. And they have children and it's all wonderful. Now there's one little problem with this, because Cupid is a little bit of a rascal, and then he comes around again after a couple of years and shoots the man while he's looking at another woman. And the arrow goes in, he looks at this other woman, and now this love is stronger than the one that he had before because it's current, it's right now. And so he falls in love with this one, and he obviously has to leave the other one. And that's a problem, right? And that's sort of what happens with love. And we see it over and over again in Western society. So that's one concept. Another concept is a story that is told about a rabbi and a student. So the student is enjoying his dinner. He's eating fish, and the rabbi asked the student, "Do you love fish?" So the student says, "Yeah, I really do. I love fish. Tastes great." He's eating away and all. So after a minute, the rabbi says, "I don't think you love fish." So the student says, "Well, I do. I love fish." He says, "I don't think so. I think that you love yourself." He says, "Why?" "Because if you love the fish, you would have found a way, before they kill the fish, to send them back into the water and let them go. Then you would have seen the fish become free and just swim to its heart's delight. But really, who you love is yourself, because you love the feeling that the fish, as it goes down your esophagus into your stomach, and how it feels as you're ingesting it." So we have a commandment in Judaism to love. Now the question is, how could we command an emotion? How could anybody say this? You're commanded to love. Doesn't make any sense. But there it is, and it's the first commandment, and we say v'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha v'kol levavcha v'kol nefecha v'kol me'odecha. So it means that you should love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your might, with everything that you got. So the commandment is there, and we just don't quite know how to do this. But the Rambam gives us a key. He says that if you know something, you love it, and if you know it more, you love it more. And if you don't know it, how can you love it? And it's sort of obvious. If there's somebody I never met before and I don't know, then how do I love this person? But the minute I meet someone, and then as I get to know that person, I have a chance to love that person more. So one example I thought of is a sports team in a city. Let's say the basketball. Let's say the Memphis Grizzlies. The people go to the basketball arena and they see the team over and over again. Half the games are home, and other teams come in 3 times a year or 5 times a year, and they love the ones that they see the most. They love them more because they get to know their positives and their negatives. They get to know the players' idiosyncrasies, and so to get to know something is to love it even more. Now, Rav Dessler, one of the great rabbis, says that if you give to someone more, you get to love the person more. And an example of this would be a baby. Now, when the baby first appears, it's a selfish, crying, big problem to the parents, and hopefully they love the baby, and there it is. And so they start, and as they give to the baby, and they give food, and they give comfort, and they give warmth, and they change diapers, and they give money, and they do all kinds of things. They love the baby more, and the love grows the more they give it. So that is these are very deep ideas, and they're intrinsic in the word itself. In Hebrew, the word is ahava, aleph hey bet hey, and the first letter and the last letter is aleph and hey. So hey and aleph means to take, and the second and third letter are hey and bet, and it means to give. And so if there's a give and take, and it's healthy, then there is a balance, and there's a flow to the love, and that's what we're looking for. I mean, I'm not saying that you're supposed to take, but the one partner is supposed to say to the other, will you take? Can I offer this to you? Basically, will you receive as I give it to you? So then you're taking what is given, and there's a beautiful flow to this relationship, and that's a wonderful thing. So that shows what Rav Dessler was saying. And and the next thing I want to tell you is that in the letters itself of Ahava, you have one of the beginning letters that is suggested is Or HaKodesh Baruch Hu. So it means the light of God. So in the letters itself of the word for love is the light of God. And that seems to be what happens when there's love. There's light of God that comes through. So in opposition to what Western society sees in their songs and their movies and their falling in love, the Jewish concept is basically to be faithful. And so this is a long-lasting thing. It's a commitment, and it has to do with advancing love to give to someone, and to say this is what's going to happen, this is how it's going to be, and to stick with it. And so thank you so much for listening. And this is Avraham Moskowitz, who of the Tehillim cards, and I'm asking all of you to become active in the biggest game in town, in becoming who you can really be by bringing your spiritual aspect to its optimum.